Hello, my friends, and welcome to a special report. And this one is titled, Are U.S. Special Forces on the Ground in Ukraine? So I wanted to make this video because here's the situation. A bunch of Telegram and, a bunch of Telegram channels are reporting that U.S. troops are on the ground. And so I wanted to discuss that because if that's true, well, then this is World War III. So, okay, guys, let's get into it. The Pentagon confirms active duty U.S. troops are deployed inside Ukraine. This was reported on Democracy Now! This was on November 3rd. And so, let me make this bigger too. Okay. The Pentagon has confirmed active U.S. military troops are deployed inside Ukraine and have resumed on-site inspections to assess weapon stocks. This is Air Force Brigadier General Pat Ryder. Okay, and he says, my understanding is that they would be well far away from any type of front lines. We are relying on the Ukrainians to do that. We are relying on our other partners to do that. We've been very clear that there are no combat forces in Ukraine. So no U.S. forces conducting combat operations in Ukraine. These are personnel that are assigned to conduct security, cooperation, and assistance as part of the Defense Attaché Office. And on Wednesday, the UN said 14 million people have been forcibly displaced. Okay, so I got that. And then we've got, this is from the Defense Gov website. And this is the transcripts. I'll get to that in just a second. And the question is, hi, thanks, Travis Tritton with military.com. So the military has personnel inside of Ukraine who are doing weapons inspections now, and I'm wondering what the rules of engagement for those personnel are, if they're fired on or if they're targeted by the Russians. And here's his response. Yes, so as mentioned, we do have small teams that are comprised of embassy personnel that are conducting some inspections of security assistance delivery at a variety of locations. And again, this is part of a broader effort by the U.S. government to track U.S. provided capabilities and to prevent illicit spread throughout Eastern Europe. Again, I highlight up front, we have no indication that there has been any type of illicit spread. The capabilities that we've provided to the Ukrainians are being used effectively on the battlefield. So, no U.S. active forces. Okay, so here's another question. So, up until this point, there haven't been any U.S. troops inside of Ukraine, and now we do have U.S. troops inside Ukraine. Some crosstalk. General Ryder. We've had U.S. forces serving at the embassy as part of the Defense Attaché Office, which is where these guys are assigned. So we've been clear that there are no combat forces in Ukraine, no U.S. forces conducting combat operations in Ukraine. There are several personnel that are assigned to or conduct security cooperation and assistance. Okay, question. Right, but this would be different because they're working outside of the embassy. I'm just wondering if people should read this as an escalation in U.S. involvement in the war. General Ryder, no. This is just responsible management of the capabilities that we're providing to the Ukrainians. So, okay, so let's go on to another one. This is PolitiFact. And on February 12th, news broke that the Pentagon ordered U.S. troops stationed in Ukraine to leave the country due to impending Russian invasions, but a recent Facebook claims U.S. troops are still there. End of the road for Putin, an August 17th Facebook post said U.S. Army in Ukraine. This post was flagged, and General Garrison, U.S. Marine Corps Colonel and a Defense Department spokesman told PolitiFact that this post isn't accurate. There are no military forces in Ukraine. So there are military forces in Ukraine. However, they're part of the embassy. And let's see here. There were 160 Florida National Guard troops training Ukrainians military when Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin temporarily relocated them to Europe in February, and 3,000 more American troops from the 82nd Airborne were also deployed to Europe from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And at the end it says, but we rate claims that the U.S. Army forces are stationed in Ukraine as false. And here, if we go to this report, this was October 7th, 2022. The presence of a large broad clandestine operations that include the CIA. Now that I do believe. And so let's get to that. U.S. Special Operation Forces are on the ground in Ukraine as part of a broad covert operation that includes CIA personnel. The Intercept reported on Wednesday, citing unnamed U.S. intelligence and military officials. The report said that U.S. withdrew its CIA and special operation assets from Ukraine shortly before Russia's invasion, although one U.S. official said the CIA never completely left. And I'm sure, guys, there's always going to be some CIA there. They're there in every country. And the CIA initially predicted Kyiv would fall quickly to Russia, but after it became clear that it wouldn't, the Biden administration sent its covert assets back into Ukraine. And I believe that as well. The report said that U.S. clandestine operations inside Ukraine are now far more extensive than they were early in the war, when U.S. intelligence were fearful that Russia would steamroll over the Ukrainian army. Several current and former intelligence officers said that there is much more larger presence of both CIA and U.S. Special Operations personnel and resources in Ukraine than there were at the time of the Russian invasion in February. And back in June, the New York Times reported that there was a CIA presence in Ukraine, but it made no mention of U.S. Special Forces. The Times report did say that several U.S. allies have special operations in Ukraine, including Britain, France, Canada, and Lithuania. So we've got CIA there, guys. And then we've got this article from the World Socialist website. Let's see, significantly, U.S. officers are helping to plan combat missions, serving as a critical conduit for U.S. direction of the war effort. The Times reported the extensive so-called Mozart Group of dozens of U.S. soldiers who are actively engaged in training thousands of Ukrainian troops on how to use weapons provided by the United States, such as Javelin anti-tank missiles. The Times report does not constitute investigative reporting, rather a controlled release of information designed to condition the American population to accept the unthinkable, a hot war between nuclear-armed powers. Bit by bit, Biden's lying claim that the United States is not at war with Russia is being replaced with the reality that the U.S. is in fact at war with the world's second largest nuclear power. The American population is simply to be presented with a fait accompli and accept the facts on the ground that they are at war. Like, this is false, guys. If we were at war, we would have destroyed them already. So while I believe we've got CIA there and we've got some special operations, that's, that I can accept, and I wish I had the evidence to present to you. But as far as as far as officially, like active duty, um, fighting right by side with the Ukrainians, I seriously doubt that. Like we've got retired and we've got volunteers, but not on the active payroll. Maybe some of them are fighting, but unofficially or undercover. And so that's all I've got for today, guys. I wanted to make this just because give you guys the situation, and it's very interesting. And as an American citizen, that I want to know too. Like, are we on the ground? Like, if we were really on the ground, we'd be sending a lot more arms, and we'd really go to war with them. So we might be there in a limit. We are there in a limited capacity, very limited. And so I believe our troops and our generals are telling us the truth. If you have any information or would like to comment on this, leave a comment, guys. Give me a like and subscribe to the channel. That way I can keep you updated on what's going on. All right, guys, you have a great day and peace out.